Genesis is at it again. The folks at the luxury division of Hyundai have come up with the G80 EV, taken a fairly big sedan and completely electrified it. Let's take it for a drive today. It's time for Family Wheels. Genesis has taken out the V6 turbo from the ICE version of the G80 and put in an 87 kilowatt hour battery, a couple of 136 kilowatt motors, one for the front wheels, one for the rear, so we have all-wheel drive, and we get 365 horsepower. More importantly, we get more than 500 foot-pounds of torque. You really feel it. It's just a tremendous surge. In fact, it needs all-wheel drive to handle all that torque. The typical Vancouver rain is upon us today, so I'm going to have to be careful as we take the G80 EV up one of our steeper hills and give it some throttle. That's just a great feeling. By the way, well controlled. I didn't mat it all the way, but the all-wheel drive system certainly did its job in keeping things under control with all that torque. As smooth and quiet and serene and luxurious as the G80 EV is around town, out on the highway, it's perhaps even more so. It's just a magic carpet, and it is not floaty. This isn't a 1970 Chrysler New Yorker we're driving here. It actually has pretty decent handling for a fairly large car. It's just so quiet and snappy when you need it out here on the highway. We're not going to be doing any off-roading in the G80 EV, but let's take it over our neighborhood bumpy road and see how it handles the potholes and patches and speed bumps. Yeah, and just as you'd expect, smooth all the way. I'm pleasantly surprised by the relative efficiency of the G80 EV. 454 kilometers is the estimated range, and that's really pretty efficient use of that much battery. If you have a 9,000 pound Hummer EV, you're using a lot more electricity, and that's why its battery has to be so much larger. As more and more electric vehicles come into the vehicle population, efficiency of the electric setup, that is, the battery, the drivetrain, how much is used up, is going to become more of an issue. The electric G80 is very much on brand for Genesis in that it has everything. In fact, some Genesis models have packages that you can add to them or different specs. Not this one. One specification, one price, and you get it all. And that means in this case we have excellent Napa leather upholstery, heated and ventilated front seats, a digital dashboard as well as center stack, lexicon audio, and a huge number of 3-letter and 4-letter active and passive safety features, including the highway driving assist, which does the steering for you, but you got to remember to leave your hands on the wheel. If I've got any quibbles at all about this extremely luxurious interior, it might be about the wood trim here. Yes, this is wood. It's not something I'm familiar with. The cut of the wood to reveal all the swirls in it, I'm just not crazy about it, but that's highly subjective. There's also no sunroof / moonroof. However, I found that when I tested the internal combustion G80 earlier, because of the steep break of the windshield, they couldn't start the sunroof till about here anyway, so really what use was it? All kinds of power adjustments are available for both the front seats, and on the driver's side you can extend the seat cushion or seat pan, as I call it, for greater leg comfort. Can't do that on the passenger side, but otherwise there's no difference between the two, and they also both have massage function. I like that Genesis gives you numerous ways to control functions. You can do it on the touch screen, the control wheel, steering wheel for many functions, and we have just the right amount of hard and soft buttons here in the center to take care of everything just the way you like it. A great feature, it's across Genesis, Hyundai, Kia, is the star function that's programmable. And for instance, I've got the steering wheel one set up to turn on the audio system. I should add that there's another set of controls, and that is back, home, as well as menu, and then 2 knurled knobs for volume as well as tuning, and they're really quite handy. Every Genesis I've ever driven has been a terrific value compared to particularly its German counterparts. The G80 EV, not so much. Mercedes-Benz has come out with a line of fully electrified sedans and particularly SUVs. Genesis still has a tremendous warranty, 5 years or 100,000 kilometers in Canada with maintenance included, and that is valet maintenance. They come to you, take your car away, and leave you a loaner. The Mercedes warranty is very good as well, 4 years, 80,000 kilometers, plus 2 years of wear items such as brake pads. So it's a bit of a toss-up, or whatever you like subjectively, between those two, as opposed to Genesis having a huge lead when it comes to the value proposition. The G80 EV and its gasoline engine counterpart are big cars. No, they're not the biggest, but they're plenty big. And yet, there isn't a ton of room like an SUV in this sedan. It seems obvious, but we have behind me a rear-facing child seat. It's the kind that takes up the most room. I'm 5 feet 11 inches tall, 180 centimeters, and I've got a decent, comfortable seating position here in the front passenger seat. The G80 EV is in a class of vehicles that are basically executive cars. Sometimes they're called Banker's Express, and that's certainly the case back here. If you're the type of person who is driven around by someone else, you'll do just fine back here. There's all the comforts of home. We have a full set of climate controls, seat heat. In the bin, we have a couple of USB ports, and there's a pass-through, by the way, for your skis if someone is driving you up to your chalet at Whistler, let's say. Genesis continues to steal a march on some of the most established names in luxury automobiles. I'm very impressed with the G80 EV, but what do you think? Leave a comment. As always, thanks for watching, thanks for liking, and thanks for subscribing. I'm Richard Detman, and I'll see you next time on Family Wheels.